things seem to be going well. Emmy and Mira are running around in what looks to be a tropical paradise. And, oh, they're running for their lives. Anguirus is hot on their trail, eager to turn them into an afternoon snack. And part of me is kind of cheering for Anguirus. I love my spiky boy. But then out of nowhere, Gorosaurus comes in with the save. Now, I'm not suggesting he saved the twins on purpose. I'm just happy to see Gorosaurus and Anguirus fighting in the same comic because this marks the first time they've ever fought. But they're not the only classic kaiju making a cameo. A wild Megalodon appears, but if one is here in prehistoric times, how could there be more from Mira and Emmy's future timeline? Granted, it's hard answering difficult questions when you're being chased by man-eating monsters. Suddenly, the Megalodon is ensnared by webbing. It's a prehistoric Mothra. Wow, we haven't seen one of these since 1999's Rebirth of Mothra 3. Interestingly, the prehistoric Shobijin have been expecting the human twins, fleeing to safety. The Shobijin, who look amazing by the way, I love the design aesthetics, explain they know all about Mira and Emmy coming to this time period to retrieve the Mothra egg. But Mira wants answers. You see, she's starting with what, I think is a reasonable question. But Emmy hushes her, which is suspicious. Much to the chagrin of the Shobijin, Mira and Emmy squabble like sisters do. They're just making up for lost time. On the back of the prehistoric Mothra, the Shobijin lead Emmy and Mira into a hidden temple where the egg is residing. But they're not fleeing from Anguirus and Gorosaurus. Oh no, they're hiding from a terrifying entity called the Dragon Queen. Mira and Emmy find a detailed mural on a wall, no doubt left there for expositional purposes. The Dragon Queen's drawing is etched onto the mural, confirming she is the source of the Megalodon we saw from earlier, but in time, and by that we mean in the here and now. Mira and Emmy will come to know her as Megaguirus. Yay, Megaguirus is here! And she's killing the shit out of my Gorosaurus. No, Megaguirus is here. The girls want to know more about Megaguirus. I mean, she's kind of awesome. But the Shobijin give a cryptic, oh, you'll find out soon. Wow, okay. Ahead is a temple shaped like the Mothra symbol. This is where the egg is located. Meanwhile, Gorosaurus is cooked. He's probably thinking about finding a new agent because this is Hedora. That's my way of saying BS, by the way. And I love how Anguirus is getting the hell out of Dodge. Anguirus running away from Megaguirus says a lot about her bad reputation. I mean, Anguirus charged headfirst into battle against the likes of King Ghidorah, Gigan, Mechagodzilla, and Destroya. But when he sees Megaguirus, Anguirus nopes out of there. Now we know why the Shobijin are in such a rush. It wouldn't be long before the Dragon Queen senses Mira and Emmy's life force. They need to do what they came here to do. And fast. The problem is the egg is, it's gigantic. How are they supposed to carry it out? And naturally the sisters argue amongst themselves, which is a significant problem because as the Shobijin explain, they need to perform Heora Mothra ritual to open a portal back to their time period. Since they're in disharmony, this could have dire consequences. Emmy and Mira resolve to solve this problem together. As one, they perform the ritual, and it doesn't seem to be going well. Even worse, Megaguirus smells their energy and makes a beeline for the hidden temple. The sisters jump into the portal along with the Mothra egg, but they're far from safe. As fated, Megaguirus and her swarm enters the portal shortly thereafter. The Shobijin revealed their part in this terrible task is done. The twins and the egg arrive in the heart of a city. At first, it seems like they were successful, but there are people with cell phones and cars and children like everywhere. Okay, this doesn't look like a post-apocalyptic hellscape. It's not about where they are, but when. They might not be in a apocalyptic hellscape yet, but give them time, because the situation is about to escalate to like crisis level. Megaguirus is here and she looks very hungry. Suspiciously on cue, however, Mothra arrives to confront Megaguirus. Mothra, how could she be here? I thought she was dead. They may be in the wrong timeline, but Mira and Emmy need to protect the egg at all cost. But the egg, it's got other ideas. It's time to hatch. Their Mothra hatches, and she's so dang cute. Immediately, the young Mothra webs up Meganolons. At this point, the city is in a literal kaiju uproar, and the twins need to get to safety. But they realize the other Mothra is being stung by Megaguirus' swarm. These flying bug monsters are called Meganola. Mothra goes down as the Meganola siphon her energy. It's then the overarching big bad appears, Antra. Like a crimson juggernaut, Antra charges into battle against Megaguirus. And when kaiju queens go to war, so too do their armies. As Antra and Megaguirus fight it out, Emmy rushes over to save Mothra. She knows the elder goddess is dying, but she encourages her not to give up. Meanwhile, Mira looks around a corner and sees a young Emmy being escorted away by the Shobijin. Antra interrupts this revelation by smashing Megaguirus down like it's the like button. Realizing there's no way of winning this, Megaguirus and her swarm retreats, presumably to fight another day. Antra then locks eyes with Mothra, and we've seen this story before. Buckle up because it doesn't have a happy ending. Mira finds Emmy and the new Mothra nearby. Mira now knows what timeline they're in because she saw Emmy the day the Shobijin saved her. This is all 15 years ago. This explains why Megaguirus is here. Why Mothra never laid an egg, because Megaguirus' swarm sucked away her energy. And it's why she lost to Antra. Everything is their fault. It's then Amy delivers a wham line. I already knew, Mira. But as Emmy will soon confess, she didn't know enough. The Shobijin didn't tell her everything. Mira is understandably devastated. Not only did Emmy and the Shobijin not tell her the truth, they lied to her. Emmy, who was raised by Mothra's fairies, can only murmur back, "They told me to. I had to." Antra delivers the coup de grace to Mothra. As the elder Mothra goes limp, the new one sprays its webbing all over Antra's feet. Then it flips cars over Antra's drones, which, at this point, it's nice to see. This Mothra, she's definitely winning Mira over with her grit alone. But Antra, she doesn't care if this Mothra was literally born that day. As far as she's concerned, this is another red in her ledger. Mira runs over to Emmy, encouraging her to get up and help Mothra. Somehow they will find a way to solve this crisis together. As one, the twins shout to Mothra, commanding her to leave. The young Mothra gives a "you don't need to ask me twice." It blinds Antra with its webbing before our heroes hightail it out of there. Outside the city, Mira, Emmy, and Mothra rest. It's then they see Megaguirus and her swarm flying away, but things are far from getting better. The Meganola are feeding Megaguirus the energy they stole from the elder Mothra. With its power, Megaguirus will be stronger when next they meet. To which Mira confidently responds, "Then we just gotta train our new Mothra even harder." To be continued. Okay, so here are my post-breakdown thoughts. The first issue of Mothra, Queen of the Monsters established a bleak yet refreshing new take on Mothra, one of the most beloved characters from the Godzilla mythos. It had an unforgettable start, relatable characters burdened with larger-than-life problems, and intriguing mysteries that leave me wanting more. So it's a true testament to writer Sophie Campbell's talents as a storyteller that the second chapter is even better. It amazes me how fast-paced these comics have been, yet it doesn't feel that way. I've gone back to reread the first issue many times, for educational purposes, of course. And I'm absolutely going to be studying this new second entry even more. I cannot wait for the next one. Artist Matt Frank continues to demonstrate why his artistic talents are truly special. It's rare to see an artist whose art evokes so much emotion. In the past issue, I marveled at how you can tell what Mira and Emmy are thinking just when you look at them. But fans familiar with Matt's work know he's efficient in doing the same with the kaiju. Giant monsters usually get a bad rep for being one-dimensional. They're generally depicted as being forces of nature meant to challenge the humans as opposed to being their own unique characters. In the right creative hands, kaiju can be compelling characters with rich, unique personalities. It seems like Sophie Campbell and Matt Frank understood the assignment and deserve major praise, and I can't wait to see what else they have in store. Okay, so I'm going to be closing out this video with some good old-fashioned Easter eggs and trivia, because this issue is full of them, okay? You can literally populate Monster Island with these Easter eggs that may or may not have any relation to Mothra. Are they just Mothra eggs? Should we just call them Mothra eggs? Tiny Varan is seen flying out of Anguirus' way when he's trying to eat the twins. On the mural, we can see a motherload of Easter eggs. There are the silhouettes of not only the Shobijin from different time periods, but the Antra handmaidens too. And then there's a UFO with what looks to be the key locks from Destroy All Monsters. Finally, we see Godzilla fighting not only Mothra, but what appears to be King Ghidorah as well. And there's a carving of what absolutely looks to be Armor Mothra. Let's go. Let's go. This could be a depiction of an ancient battle, or as Matt Frank seems to be alluding to on social media, possibly an alternate timeline. In the first issue, Mira had carved 3 kaiju statues, for her to use as target practice, one of which was one of Godzilla. Personally, I think Godzilla does have a presence in this world, and I'm hoping we get to see him show up sometime in the future. Megaguirus' life-draining abilities actually look like they're draining the life out of its victims. Poor Gorosaurus, he looks like a living corpse. We haven't seen something like this since Iris, Gamera 3's villain, but hey, rest assured, there's more than one Gorosaurus out there, so our boy isn't completely extinct. Alright, speaking of the Dragon Queen, this isn't the first time Megaguirus and Mothra have fought before. We've seen them briefly spar in the past during the supremely underrated Godzilla Cataclysm and Godzilla Rage Across Time comics respectively. The two squaring off is a conflict that makes sense, but I was actually more excited to see Antra and Megaguirus throwing down. What can I say? I find villain on villain fights way juicier. Alright, so that's a wrap. I'm loving how this series has several antagonists with competing motives. I love the story, the characters are great, they're well written, they're well expressed. I'm really loving just how far they seem to have already come. I love the character growth. The monsters are exceptional. I cannot wait to see the new Mothra. It's going to be great. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, take care of yourselves. I'll see you all later.